You know me. I'm a New Yorker, born and bred. I am a fighter. And my instinct is to fight through this controversy because I truly believe it is politically motivated. I believe it is unfair and it is untruthful. And I believe it demonizes behavior that is unsustainable for society. If I could communicate the facts through the frenzy, New Yorkers would understand. I believe that. But when I took my oath as governor, then it changed. I became a fighter, but I became a fighter for you. And it is your best interest that I must serve. This situation, by its current trajectory, will generate months of political and legal controversy. That is what is going to happen. That is how the political wind is blowing. It will consume government. It will cost taxpayers millions of dollars. It will brutalize people. The State Assembly yesterday outlined weeks of process that will then lead to months of litigation. Time and money that government should spend managing COVID, guarding against the Delta variant, reopening upstate, fighting gun violence, and saving New York City. All that time would be wasted. This is one of the most challenging times for government in a generation. Government really needs to function today. Government needs to perform. It is a matter of life and death, government operations. And wasting energy on distractions is the last thing that state government should be doing. And I cannot be the cause of that. New York tough means New York loving. And I love New York. And I love you. And everything I have ever done has been motivated by that love. And I would never want to be unhelpful in any way. And I think that given the circumstances, the best way I can help now is if I step aside and let government get back to governing. And therefore, that's what I'll do, because I work for you. And doing the right thing is doing the right thing for you. Because as we say, it's not about me, it's about we. Kathy Hochul, my lieutenant governor, is smart and competent. This transition must be seamless. We have a lot going on. I'm very worried about the Delta variant, and so should you be. But she can come up to speed quickly, and my resignation will be effective in 14 days. To my team, Melissa DeRosa, Robert Mahica, Beth Garvey, Stephanie Benton, Dana Caratanudo, Kelly Cummings, Rich Azzapardi, Howard Zucker, Rick Cotton, Jano Lieber, Jack Davies, and the hundreds of dedicated administration officials. I want to say this: thank you, and be proud. We made New York State the progressive capital of the nation. No other state government accomplished more to help people. And that is what it's all about. Just think about what we did. We passed marriage equality, creating a new civil right, legalized love for the LGBTQ community, and we generated a force for change that swept the nation. We passed the SAFE Act years ago, the smartest gun safety law in the United States of America, and it banned the madness of assault weapons. We've saved countless lives with that law. $15 minimum wage, the highest minimum wage in the nation, lifting millions of families' standard of living, putting more food on the table and clothes on their backs. And we led the nation in economic justice with that reform. We have managed every emergency Mother Nature could throw at us. Fires, floods, hurricanes, superstorms, and pandemics. We balanced the state budget, and we got it done on time, more than any other administration, because government should work and perform. Free college tuition for struggling families. Nobody in this state will be denied their college dream because of their income. We have built new airports, rail, transit, roads all across this state faster and better than ever before, and more than any state in the nation. The most effective green economy program in the nation. We did more for Black and Latino families than any other administration. We did more for working families. We did more for our union brothers and sisters. We did more to battle racism and anti-Semitism. Today, so much of the politics is just noise, just static. And that's why people tune it out. What matters is actually improving people's lives. And that's what you did. You made this state a better state for the generations that follow. And that is undeniable, inarguable, and true, even in these ugly, crazy times. I thank Speaker Carl Heastie and Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins for their leadership. And let me say this on a personal note. In many ways, I see the world through the eyes of my daughters, Cara, Mariah, and Michaela. They are 26 and 26, twins, and 23. And I have lived this experience with and through them. I have sat on the couch with them, hearing the ugly accusations for weeks. I have seen the look in their eyes and the expression on their faces, and it hurt. I want my three jewels to know this. My greatest goal is for them to have a better future than the generations of women before them. It is still in many ways a man's world. It always has been. We have sexism that is culturalized and institutionalized. My daughters have more talent and natural gifts than I ever had. I want to make sure that society allows them to fly as high as their wings will carry them. There should be no assumptions, no stereotypes, no limitations. I want them to know from the bottom of my heart that I never did and I never would intentionally disrespect a woman or treat any woman differently than I would want them treated. And that is the God's honest truth. Your dad made mistakes, and he apologized, and he learned from it. And that's what life is all about. And I know the political process is flawed, and I understand there's cynicism and distrust and disappointment now. But don't give it up, because government is still the best vehicle for making positive social change. Lastly, I want to remind all New Yorkers of an important lesson, and one that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And that's what you New Yorkers did in battling COVID. The enemy landed in New York State. COVID launched the attack here. It came on planes from Europe, and we had no idea. It was an ambush. And it was up to New Yorkers to fight back. We were on our own, and it was war. Nurses, doctors, essential workers became our frontline heroes. Hospitals became the battlegrounds. Streets were still, and sirens filled the city's silence. Trailers carried the bodies of our fallen brothers and sisters. But you refused to give up, and you fought back, and you won, going from the highest infection rate in the nation to one of the lowest. No one thought we could do it, but you did it. You led the nation, and you showed the way forward. And how you did it is what's most important. You did it together, not as black New Yorkers or white New Yorkers, not as LGBTQ New Yorkers or straight New Yorkers or Democrats or Republicans or upstate or downstate or Jewish, Muslim, Protestant or Catholic New Yorkers, but as one community, one family, the family of New York. You overcame the naysayers and the haters and the fear and the division, and you unified and you rose and you overcame and you saved lives. And that was powerful in its effect. It was beautiful to see, and it was an honor to lead. Please remember that lesson. Hold it dear and hold it up high for this nation to see, because it is New York State at her finest, creating her legacy, fulfilling her destiny, giving life and animation to the lady in the harbor, saying, Excelsior, we can be better, we can reach higher, and proclaiming E pluribus unum, out of many one, unity, community, love. That is our founding premise and our enduring promise. And that is the salvation of this nation that it so desperately needs to hear. Thank you for the honor of serving you. It has been the honor of my lifetime. God bless you.
All right, so we have just lost the feed there from New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announcing that 14 days from now, his resignation will be official. Governor Cuomo there ending his message with a thank you note to the state of New York for the way they've handled the COVID pandemic. Obviously, a bit of controversy there for the governor considering the nursing home scandal. But before that, a very personal message from Cuomo to his daughters, telling them that he never did or never wanted to do anything that he has been accused of doing, and he had never done anything that he considers inappropriate to happen to his own daughters. We also heard from the governor, again, sort of a repeat of what he said last week, saying he went too far, obviously crossed some lines, but did not realize that the line on this stuff had been redrawn. Also bemoaned the fact that this had gotten way too political, talked about the prospect of months of this taking center stage when there are a lot of important things for New York to focus on, including COVID and gun violence, his words there. Again, Governor Cuomo on that note announcing that he will resign effective in 14 days. The New York Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul will take over when that happens. Let's welcome in now Eric Bolling, host of The Balance here on Newsmax TV, for some reaction to this. Eric, great to see you again. There was some talk that Andrew Cuomo wasn't going anywhere, and we were listening to his attorney, Rita Glavin, beforehand, using that platform to defend basically Governor Cuomo there. I think this is why, I was thinking this is why you don't resign. So you have that opportunity to use that platform, but then he did ultimately resign. I wanted to get your reaction to that, Eric.
So, first of all, I'm trying to figure out what's going to take him 14 days to vacate the office. What is he going to do? Just continue to take a victory lap? Or this man is a narcissist. I think he resigned, John, because remember, he was Attorney General before he was governor. He realizes that some of the accusations, especially the one from Ms. Commisso yesterday, could be as high as felonies in New York State. So, do you want to go through a defense, a criminal investigation of yourself and stay in the governor's office? He was going to be evicted. He was going to be impeached. That was going to happen. So I think this resignation it had to happen. The timing of it is very interesting as these accusers come. Remember, Ms. Commisso came out yesterday morning. I believe she was talking to CBS. Last night, there were two new accusers. I believe one was 17, may have presented themselves. So it was going to continue to snowball and grow. Even the New York Times said amid scandal. So the man politically, he was toast. The question was, criminally, is he toast? and civilly is he toast. So now he's got two other avenues in just the sexual harassment case where he could be brought. I think there's a prosecutor in Albany who said that he's going to open an investigation, sheriff in Albany saying he's going to open a criminal investigation to the man. And then we know each one of these accusers can go after him civilly for money. Those are harder. Those are probably going to happen. The hard one, though, is to nail him criminally, which by all accounts looks like he did violate some criminal statutes in New York, and he would know. He was the former prosecutor, former attorney general.
Yeah, when I heard his message to his daughters, and he talked about, what they're seeing on TV, I wondered if that was the straw that broke the camel's back here, because, again, just yesterday it seemed, at least according to some, that there was no way that Governor Cuomo was going to resign, but he does, at least if you believe him, appears to be deeply impacted by this, at least these most recent allegations here. Also, Eric, I wanted to ask you real quickly before we let you go here. His attorney gave, I think, what was a pretty effective presentation beforehand, but this is, you can see their tactic here. They're going to go after these accusers, name them, show pictures of them, and blame them. I wonder if that's going to work.
Yeah. No. And by the way, I don't believe him, number one. I don't think it had anything to do with his daughter sitting on the couch with his daughters watching the news. I think he realized he was toast. Politically, he was finished. I think that's what this was all about. I don't think this is what defense attorneys do. They start to point the finger at the victims. And it's victim shaming, it's victim blaming, and they're going to do it because they're high-priced attorneys and he's got all the money in the world to spend on his defense. But I do think this man, he's resigned, he doesn't have to be impeached anymore. I do think he's going to face some both criminal and civil charges, and we'll see how it goes. But to start to play narcissist and I'm the victim here on television for 25 minutes, give me a break. Resign, move on, and let the lieutenant governor take over. Let's go.
Yeah, it was a long speech. His attorney spoke for a long time, too. Kind of jarring to see the COVID recovery logo on the screen while you have Governor Cuomo's lawyer defending him from these sexual harassment allegations. It's 2021. Here we are, Eric, and this is the reality.
John, don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we got the nursing home scandal that's looming as well. That could be simultaneous. The guy is he's toast. Maybe he'll become a CNN anchor next to his brother, who's, by the way, got a lot of splaining to do, as they say.
Yeah, well, according to the Washington Post, Chris Cuomo has still been advising his brother despite telling everybody that he wasn't going to do that. So we're going to talk about that as well coming up. Many layers to this story. Eric, we'll see you at 4 o'clock today.